Welcome back to Moonshine Performance. It's race day. We're here at Havana Drag Strip back at our home track, and we're getting everything ready to go. We just got teched in, and we're gonna get this thing, make a pass here. We got a GoPro. The first pass isn't gonna be on a GoPro. We have to have it mounted on there for the gauge to make sure it doesn't drop, but other than that, we'll get it on a phone or something. So we're gonna go make a pass in a little while and see how she does. We're making our second pass now. We went through, if you might have heard some popping, we were a little bit lean on the big end, and I was getting out of it at 330 anyway. Ran 6.5 to the 8th, and it was a half track pull, so that's decent. Brett's in it now. We fattened up the jets a little bit, and hopefully this fixes it. He's gonna make a full pass as long as there's no popping. So let's hope this goes well. They're running bikes now, and then it's us. If you'll notice, we got the car back in the garage now. We went racing. Well, it's Sunday now. We went racing Friday night. Didn't really touch it yesterday. But you see a puddle there. That's a little bit of tranny fluid. We're going to go ahead and it's leaking out of our gasket. We're going to get longer bolts. This is the third time that's happened now. But we noticed after looking at the footage, we thought it was running lean every time on the big end. And so we kept fattening it up with jets. Now, well, we fattened it up one time with jets, and then we also gave it more fuel pressure, or line pressure from the fuel pump, and that didn't really help. And come to think of it, this thing was only making a 1-gear pull. It would shift into second gear right off the line, and it would run a 6.4, and us getting out of it at the 330s in the 8th, it would still run a 6.4, and that was in second gear only. That wasn't even first gear. And it was hard to tell because, you know, there's a lot of stuff going through your mind when you're racing and everything, and you can't really hear and all that stuff. But we went back and looked at the GoPro and just kind of listened to it on the phone, and we'd realized that it was only making a 1-gear pull. So we're going through right now what would happen. There's 2 things that could have happened here. We're on the trans brake, and it goes past our rev limiter that we had set and shifts and takes off. Either that or, what was the other? Oh, it spins the tires right off the line and shifts because it gets up higher than our shift point, and shifts itself right off the bat right after we let go of the trans brake. It's hard to tell which one happens. But to eliminate the tire spin thing, we're going to wire in this delay box. We figured we got it. We may as well put it in there. That's kind of a learning curve for us, so we're going to try to go slow and figure out how that thing works.
So it's going to be, our shift points are going to be timed instead of RPM activated. Yeah,
we're going to put a timer in so that, like, another thing I noticed too, that car that ran 440s in the 8th shifted like right after his 60-foot. So he used first gear all the way there, and then
we'll start basically
so
shift point after
60-foot. So we'll see how that works. That's something that we're just going to have to play with, but we're going to wire this thing up and see how it works. Other than that, everything else went very well with the car. We got a system down. The vacuum pump was pulling all the moisture out. We didn't have a problem with that. We've got, like I said, we've got the tranny leak out of the gasket, but that's an easy fix. An annoying fix, but an easy one. Everything else worked really well. It was nice and easy to race this thing. We finally got a system down. It was working us for the first couple times, but we're going to go ahead and figure all this wiring junk out. We figured out how to use the delay box. We wired it back in. So when the car first came to us, it had a delay box mounted right here. And we kind of unplugged everything and jumped some cables. That way we could get all of our stuff working. But we took all that apart and wired it back in how they had it, the previous owners of the car. And now, obviously we'll get this mounted the right way. But I just sat here and learned. We just learned how to use it. So this will control a whole bunch of stuff. And what we were running into is we would either spin right off the line and it would shift because it would reach a certain RPM, or our box wasn't holding the right rev limiter for the trans brake launch, and it would shift and take off. So either one of those could happen, but we're going to fix the main problem here is spinning and shifting. So right here, this is like I said, this is a delay box, and you can do a whole bunch of stuff with this, but what we're planning on doing is using the RPM activated switch. So at 5600 RPM, that will activate our shift node and shift. But we also have another setting in here. It doesn't work after 1.2 seconds, so we can change that to 1.3 seconds, or we can change it back to 1.2 seconds. But after 1.2 seconds, then it will work. So if you spin, it gives you 1.2 seconds to hook back up and then shift. Obviously, if you're spinning, it's kind of an aborted pass anyway, but that's kind of cool. I figured we may as well use it, and that's the only way we're going to get the RPM thing to work. There is, however, another way you can shift. If you go here, all the way, whoops, past it, to there, you can hold that and bring it into a 3-speed shifter, or you can bring it to a timer. And this basically turns into a throttle stop C. So you'll press RPM again, and it'll give you times, so we can have it shifting at 3 seconds. These other 3 numbers are just nothing. You can run through and change them. But if we have it shifting at 3 seconds, I'll go ahead and show you guys this. So we have to turn this switch on. We have to turn this switch on for our shift node. And then I'll take it and shift it back into first. And then I'm going to take the trans brake here, and I'm going to press it, and it's on. As soon as I let go, it'll count to 3 seconds and shift. And that's basically that. So I figured that was kind of interesting. We're going to play around with that thing a little bit too. There's stuff where you can race a guy, put his ET in and your ET in, and you can leave off of their light and leave off of your light, and whoever... so you basically get 2 chances at the tree, and whatever your fastest time is, fastest reaction time, it'll use that time to leave for you. And I think that's pretty much cheating. There's also stuff that you can do. You can put a throttle stop base plate type deal in there, and basically you just have wide open throttle all the time, and it controls your throttle to run the perfect ET, which there's more to it than that, but I just thought that's kind of interesting. But that's what we're looking at now. Now we just got to make sure that this RPM, what's it called, 2-step thing is working. We'd like to use to launch off the converter, but we have too high of a converter would blow the tires off. We just got to make sure that's working, and we can go racing again. Like I said, we've got the tranny leak to fix and the rear end leak to fix. But other than that, we're pretty much ready to go racing. I was going to go ahead and end the video with that last clip, but I wanted to let you know that we got both of the leaks fixed back here with the tranny and the rear end. We also had to throw new tack in there off of the test stand with 327 in it because our last tack took a crap on us. So that's working good now. We also have a vacuum gauge in there to see what kind of vacuum we're pulling on the big end. We need to make sure that we're pulling enough and not too much. We also called the Hoosier dealer, which is the guy that runs the track down in Havana as well, and we buy all of our tires from him. But we called him because we thought that we were going to need a bigger tire now that we have first. We thought we were going to blow the tires off and wouldn't be able to tune it out. But he says that we should have no problem with these tires. We do, however, need new tires because these are for that car over here, Moonshine. And so we're going to get him some numbers, like where the RPM drops after we shift and all that kind of stuff. We're shifting at 6,200 RPM now. We're launching at 48. We got a rev limiter set at 65. And our burnout is at 5,000. So hopefully we have no problem with these tires and these will work for us pretty well. But other than that, I went through and cleaned the car up and vacuumed it all out. And it's like a new car inside now. We also got a new camera that we're going to be using to film everything. And I can't wait for tomorrow. It's Thursday now. Tomorrow is Friday. We're going to have a test and tune down in Havana. And like I said, we're getting everything ready today. That way we can go test, and we're going to get up in the morning and load the car. But everything else will be done. So I think that's about it. Stay tuned for the next drag racing video. Thanks for watching.